I mean, I've known this, but I haven't seen it yet. There's a crazy heat wave in Canada that's killing hundreds of people. They can't even use their water. The whole fucking crops are all done. Thank you, Rumen. It is like really bad. And you know what's really sad? It's capitalism, dude. Capitalism. For the first time in my entire stock market life, I would love to always share my stocks with you, but I'm always scared that people... I shouldn't show my money and stuff, right? That's really unprofessional. You shouldn't do that. I would love to share my stock market, but I'm a bit scared of leaking wrong shit. And I mean, if you do the math here, if you do the math here, you can find out yourself. But for the first time since I'm on the stock market, I am making money in the stock market in the last 2 days. I'm now 500 euros plus, which is... I made 1% plus, which is 500 euros. Now, if you do the math, you know how much I have invested. And that is because of water stocks. More and more, these water stocks are getting hyped as fuck because people around the globe are realizing that global warming is ultra fucking real. It's gonna kill us all. I just got, let's take a little, before we start, I want to show a little stock here. LGL, I got this one last month and I already made 10%, which is insane on the stock market. This is the first ever H2 nitrogen stock, the first ever ETF. I mean, not the stock. Sorry, that was wrong, man. I will check the death diary in a sec, man. I will check it in a sec. Thank you, Stanis, my dude. Thank you for the tier 2, brother. Have fun in Prague, man. Have fun, man. This is the first ever. Let me put some music on. ETF regarding hydrogen, and I got it right here, and I already made 10%, man. And when I look at my portfolio, which I don't want to show, I think that's not so clever. I'm making very good money on betting on global warming, betting on humans are stupid. It's kind of sad, dude. Kind of sad. I was just before the stream watching a documentary with Lisa. It's about fat people and shit, and how the industry, especially Coca-Cola, the sweet juice, the soda industry is totally manipulating us and killing us, and they're killing black people. It's like really racist and shit. Like they want to keep black people in America down so they don't educate them and make them all have diabetes and shit, and they have like good proof and stuff. Kind of fucking. Hydrogen ist Wasser. Ja, I was talking about Wasserstoff, du Spinner, Junge. Ich hab gesagt, Mann, hört doch zu, Junge. Mann. Pretty crazy, man. This one is really nice, man. This is the first ever hydrogen ETF, if you guys are interested. Very interesting, very stable. You should not buy right now. I think you should wait for a little crash. But man, for the first time ever, my stock market portfolio is going well. Do we ever get aircraft designer? Canada had a really mild winter overall this year too. What?
Do we ever get aircraft designer?
Thank you, Vegas. Vegas Boo. Anyway, I want to watch this real quick. See what the fuck's happening. Shout out to all my Canadian brothers, man. I'm in the same ETF. It's very successful.
Dozens of people in the Vancouver area of Western Canada have died in an
They're fucking dying. Dozens, man. This is insane. This is crazy, man. And if anyone still is like, oh, global warming doesn't exist, you are literally a threat to the human race, man. You're a threat to your own race. And if you don't do something, especially, it always comes down... I feel like that most discussions you have in life, whether it's social stuff, political stuff, global warming, industry, LGBTQ, whatever, it so often comes down to the politics, right? It comes down to politics, man. And yeah, someone needs to fucking do something soon.
Unprecedented heat wave.
Shit, it's not even funny anymore. I'm in Vancouver, this is real.
Deaths since Monday.
I will check death diary later. Finland has reached 30 degrees for 2 weeks in a row.
Hot. Temperatures very challenging. A new.
It's crazy how. Look, I've been alive 30 years, and you guys are also mostly over 15. You guys remember how 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we were still like, oh, we have time. 50 years, 100 years. When I'm dead, we're fine. And now it's like, bam, Junge. Bam, bam, bam. Get fucked.
Time record of 49.5 degrees Celsius. That's just over 121 Fahrenheit was set on Tuesday. In the US...
Marconi wants to gather all infos about water stocks. Well, I texted you on WhatsApp. Marconi, we can take a look in the stocks if you guys are into this in a second after this video. My biggest stocks ever is 2 water ETFs, 1 fund, 1 ETF, and they're so successful, man. And I can talk to you about water stocks all day. I spent a lot of time on this shit. And when the next crash comes, I'm gonna heavily buy water stocks. I'm gonna do something that's called a sector bet, which you shouldn't do. I'm betting all my money into one basket. I'm betting a lot of money on water crisis, and if it never happens, I'm fucked. if someone comes up with infinite water, I'm fucked. But I'm a guy that really believes in the human race being stupid, and the human race is too dumb to figure shit out. And I hope I hope we all die in the water crisis. At least I die a millionaire. I'm sitting in my mansion burning to death.
West, dangerous heat levels there. This is Portland, Oregon at 46.1 Celsius.
Oregon,
and
Portland,
more than
man. This shit is not
Celsius.
I could legit do this is dead serious. If I would live in a city that gets 42 degrees once every 5 years, 10 years, I would literally have to move. And I this sounds like a joke, but this is so dead serious. I would literally become a thing that you could define as a climate change refugee. Climate crisis refugee. I would literally have to leave an area because I can't handle it there anymore. Crazy, crazy shit to think about, man.
In Seattle
Scary.
as well. We're going to take you live to Seattle in a few moments. We'll also be asking...
And here's the problem. Here's the point. I was just watching a documentary about it right now, so I can talk about this. OP says, 11th of July 1909, there was 57 degrees in Oklahoma. Absolutely normal phenomenon. What people like you, if you're actually seriously, are not getting, and that all the scientists, 99%, all the documentaries, everything says, unlike you just Googling stuff, is, yes, you're right. Stuff like that happened before, but the frequency of it happening is rising dramatically. The frequency of heat waves, droughts, certain weather events like the tornado we just had in Czechoslovakia, which doesn't happen all the time, is getting more and more frequently. And you are totally using certain data and proof very, very wrong here, man. And that's very, you have to be very careful with that, man. Because imagine the whole world lives things like you. We're going to literally kill ourselves, man. I always say Czechoslovakia. I always say that.
Help for the homeless in Edmonton, Alberta.
There's going to be a lot of people and going to be ending up in the hospital.
They're going to die, man. No one's going to take care of them.
This because they don't. Some of them don't know how to look after themselves.
Dozens of people have died in Canada amidst this unprecedented heat wave. For the third day running, the country broke its temperature record yesterday. It reached 49.5 degrees Celsius.
I can't even imagine that. 49 degrees. At what degree does protein burn? I think 60 or something? Am I wrong here? No. I don't want to talk shit. At what degree does protein burn, like an egg? Like it starts cooking? Jesus Christ. I can't even imagine that. 49 degrees. I could not handle that. I could legit not handle that. And I was just listening to the radio. They are saying stop using water. I mean, why are the fountains still on? Maybe to help people cool down. Don't use your water too much. Careful, the energy grid is about to fall off.
Yes, in British Columbia.
Fucking scary.
Police.
And you're telling me the water crisis isn't real? Listen to Tommy. You're gonna make a lot of money in the next 10 years, man. We're gonna talk about water stocks in a second. I want to do it.
Sudden deaths since Friday. Heat is thought to have been a contributing factor.
Especially as a ginger, this shit is not good.
We get heat waves from time to time every summer. The summers have been getting hotter, but you know, it's never this bad. We've never experienced.
But there's so much water in the ocean. Only 1% of water on this planet is usable for humans, man.
Parts of Canada.
Dude, I'm a big water expert now, man. I fucking read about this shit all the time.
Parts of the United States that are worst affected. At least a dozen deaths in Oregon and Washington state are believed to be linked to the heat wave.
A big dome of high pressure has built across this part of North America, trapping the air in place. That air has been sinking and warming, allowing temperatures to climb day by day. This is not an uncommon situation in the summer, though. So why have the temperatures been so high? Well, scientists suspect climate change has had a part to play.
What?
For many, the sea is providing a temporary respite.
I just got one of these things for Italy, because this thing right here, we kind of have this one, I think. I don't know how you say it in English. Like a beach oyster? I don't know. Thank you, Magic. I need that shit, man. I need protection.
More appealing than ever.
But it's not really a tent, it's more like a beach tent in a way.
So pigs don't
There's a difference between these beach tents and tents.
We need to really make sure that they have a lot of mud and it's actually a natural sunscreen.
In Canada.
Keeping cool is set to remain.
Another thing, I really read a lot about water crisis and shit. Bill Gates has just bought, I think last week, I don't want to talk shit, but Google maybe 2 weeks, I don't know. Bill Gates has just bought 300,000 acres of farmland. Fucking Bill Gates, am I right, guys? Why is he doing that? I wonder. And has a connection to a river.
A considerable
really weird, man.
Over the next few
really
days.
Weird.
Tim Muffet, BBC News.
So let's find out how hot it is and how people are coping in Seattle. We can take you to Brian Calvert, who is a reporter with KOMO Radio News.
Is there any AC manufacturers in the chat? You're going to make a lot of money next year.
How is everyone dealing with the heat?
Well, we're trying to hang in there. We have some good news. That cooler air off the coast that Tim was just referring to has finally entered the greater Seattle
area. Has a lot of lakes, right, Tony?
Here where I am, we're
what I read sometimes, again, this is all, I'm not an ultra expert, I'm not a scientist, but what I read a lot about water crisis is that with climate change being real and fucking the human race, because we're not reacting good enough, in the next 50 to 100 years, Scandinavia is going to have a huge issue, and that issue is refugees. Millions of people will try to immigrate, even illegally, into Scandinavia, far away from the equator and where it's so hot. And Scandinavia and other countries like Canada, Greenland, even Russia, stuff like that, is going to have massive issues with this. And I was reading that Norway already made a law about that years ago, where you cannot immigrate to Norway legally anymore if you're over 35 years old. They're really taking care to only take good people. You need to make good money, you need to be young, otherwise they don't take you, man. Norway is not in the EU. No one was talking about the EU here. What are you talking about?
Actually starting to see some cooling. Now, east of the Cascade Mountains,
careful,
on the other side of my state of Washington,
all other countries are looking into making laws like that. Yeah, they're starting to fucking think about this shit.
Today to get to 110 degrees Fahrenheit or about 43 degrees Celsius, and that heat dome will remain in place for the next couple of days there. But we get lucky here.
And sometimes, maybe I'm dreaming, if I wouldn't have roots here, like a girlfriend and family, I would already move to Fabian, North Sweden. I would move there, man. Buy a little house, just live there with good internet and do my days, man.
Seattle, every now and then we get that coastal, that onshore flow coming in, and it really cools us off. But I'll tell you,
should move now,
I know that it's drizzly and cloudy there, where you are today. That's normally
you built a little castle in North Sweden, and when they all come try to get you water, you have a wall, man.
Here. And to have historically high temperatures, the hottest temperature we've ever had on record.
To me, as a ginger, it's unbelievable. But this is the highest temperatures ever, and they just sit in the sun. This is completely unbelievable to me as a ginger. How can you sit in the sun like this? I know you use sunscreen, but that is unbelievable to me. That is impossible. Just sitting in the sun
around
like
here
this.
Just don't have air conditioning units installed in their homes, so it really is a big deal. We've had 2 people officially die locally because of the heat.
And Brian, are people...
True story, I swear I'm not lying. 2 days ago, me and Lisa were driving home and we see a lady on the sidewalk collapsed. There was EMTs on her, and it was probably because of the heat, man.
People still going to work, going to school, or are people staying at home?
It's interesting that you mentioned that. Yesterday, a lot of people stayed home, but today, on a different note, it is actually the state of Washington's reopening day from COVID. And so everybody is expected to be back at work today with all of the rules and restrictions lifted for the first time in over 15 months here. So it's a big day for us. But yes, the last couple of days, we were all advised stay home, stay down low. Many of our homes here have basements. We were all encouraged to spend time down there. Here at my house, this is actually my home office, and I'm down here in the cool basement with the fan blowing in, and I'm finally getting that cool air that we've been waiting to
and I'm always saying, man, one of my biggest goals in life is truly one of the main reasons I want to make money in life is so I can buy an AC in my own room one day. That's one of my biggest goals. I think about it all the time. I need an AC in my future or I'm gonna fucking die, man.
About to talk a bit more with an expert about climate change and how much that is influencing the heat wave that you're seeing. Is that part of the conversation that people are having in Seattle?
A lot of people.
It's also interesting that we were all raised thinking about the apocalypse like how Hollywood told us, right? It's zombie apocalypse, war, nukes, alien invasion. But real life tells a different story. Real life has a slow, creeping apocalypse upon us, which is us, the human race, ourselves, right? Who would have thought? It's not aliens, it's not zombies, it's us and our fucking shitty lives. And this apocalypse is a slowly creeping one. Something you would have never imagined as a kid.
That, and just for the mere reason that when it does get hot in Seattle occasionally during the summer months, but usually it's not until the month of August or September. So for us to see
can't wait to go to Sardinia in 5 days
at the end of June. We've never seen anything
be so
like
great.
this. And
excited
the local
for
scientific
vacation, guys.
community, I'm sure that's going to be the buzz around here for the next several weeks.
Brian, great to get your thoughts. Stay cool. Thanks for joining us very early in the morning there in Seattle. We appreciate it. Well, let's talk about what is causing this unprecedented heat wave. For environmentalists, it is, of course, climate change, as we've been hearing. Let's talk to Sarah Ayich, who is a climate expert for Greenpeace International and joins us now. Good to see you. Is this just a one-off, or can you attribute it to climate change?
First of all, just hearing that report and thinking about
I know they're all boomers, but it's 1 year of COVID-19, and all you business people still didn't get a microphone, man. Every time you hear an interview in the news, these people, this woman probably has some good money. Why does no one have a microphone, man? Jesus.
People who are suffering tremendously.
Get a fucking $20 microphone.
Heating. And this is a
You're
crisis
gonna be on TV.
Across the world, with heat waves right now in the Arctic and in Russia, as well as the Pacific Northwest. We know that the climate crisis is impacting often the most vulnerable people and the people who are least responsible for it.
That is a big point. Lisa is just reading a book about climate change right now. The sad, and that's how the world works, right? The world doesn't have an happy, the universe doesn't have an happy ending, man. You get fucked. And climate change is mostly affecting people that are not responsible for it, especially third world countries, Africa, Philippines, stuff like that. It's the white people in the West, right, that fucking drive the SUVs and consume, overfishing, all that shit. And like where I live, I'm a fucking white capitalist who just fucking consumes all day. I don't have any problems yet. And all these people have tsunamis and heat waves and shit.
Unless to answer your
it's very
question, this is
unfair,
a climate emergency.
but that's how the world works, man.
Clear that fossil fuel driven climate change is causing this. And we know, unfortunately, that if we don't take urgent action.
I always like to say white people because it triggers you guys so love. I know it triggers you, that's why I like to say that. Fucking white people that chat is like, hey! I love that shit.
It's only going to get
that's
worse with parts of the world becoming uninhabitable. So we need to treat this as the emergency it is.
69 people
died.
We've
treated COVID.
Don't say it.
We know that we need to hold polluters responsible. We need to stop fossil fuel companies from continuing to burn coal, oil, and gas, or the situation is just going to get worse.
It's good to see how the whole world is getting a consciousness about this now. The question is, do Indians and Chinese people get the same consciousness? I mean, the Chinese government, they're starting to talk about getting out of coal, but way too late, right? In like 40 years or some shit.
Stop having, the seats at the table for oil companies and airlines who are really causing this problem.
So are we on track globally to meet the Paris Climate Change Agreement of, keeping global warming at 2%?
No, unfortunately not. It's possible. It's still possible, but governments need to take more action than they're currently taking. Some of them have made good commitments. Those commitments don't total enough to get us where we need. And really, in the run up to things like the COP this year, the sort of UN climate summit.
Crazy. Congratulations for 100 years of Chinese Communist Party, man. How many people did you kill? Like 80 million? Good stats, huh?
Stop seeing things like subsidies for polluters who are pretending to be green while continuing to.
We're from today? I don't think so. No one is hosting.
Oil and gas.
Sarah, thanks so much for joining us, talking there about the climate emergency at the moment.
Important stuff. It's crazy how there's a global consciousness now for this, and